Emma Torres needed the trail. It wasn't just a strip of dirt winding through cedar trees and wildflowers behind her Oregon home. It was her reset button. After hours hunched over her graphic design tablet, sketching logos for picky clients, she'd lace up her boots, leash her scruffy mutt Juniper, and hike the wooded path. The trail, a shared easement for the Willow Creek subdivision, was her sanctuary, until Beverly Klein decided it was. Emma spotted the fence on a misty Saturday morning. Juniper, tail wagging, froze at a chain-link barrier slicing across the trail, topped with a sign, HOA property, no trespassing. A padlock glinted, mocking her. Emma's stomach twisted. The trail wasn't HOA property. It belonged to all 42 homeowners, per the covenants she'd read when she bought her house 2 years ago. She snapped a photo, her breath fogging in the chill. Beverly Klein, HOA president and self-appointed neighborhood czar, was behind this. Emma had seen her handiwork before: fines for unapproved mailboxes, nastygrams about overgrown shrubs. Beverly's colonial-style house with its manicured lawn and American flag screamed control freak. Emma had stayed off her radar, paying dues on time and keeping her yard tidy. But this fence, this was war. Back home, Emma dug out the HOA covenants from a file box. Page 17, Section 4. The wooded trail easement is designated for communal use by all Willow Creek residents. No structures or obstructions permitted without unanimous board approval. No approval had been sought. Emma would have heard about it at the last HOA meeting, which Beverly ran like a courtroom. She emailed Beverly, attaching a scan of the covenants. Please remove the fence. It violates the easement rules. Beverly's reply came in 20 minutes, all caps. The board has authority to protect our community. This is not your personal park. Emma stared at the screen, half laughing, half fuming. Juniper whined, sensing her mood. She's unhinged, Junie, Emma muttered, grabbing her jacket. Time for a face-to-face. Beverly answered her door in a quilted vest, her silver bob immaculate. Emma, I'm busy, she said, already closing the door. Emma wedged her foot in. The fence on the trail, it's illegal. The covenants say so. She held up her phone, showing the document. Beverly's eyes narrowed. You don't understand how HOAs work, dear. We're enhancing security. That trail attracts vagrants. Vagrants? Emma scoffed. It's used by kids and dog walkers. You can't just claim it. Beverly's smile was thin. I'll handle this my way. Before Emma could argue, Beverly shut the door. Emma stood there, pulse racing. She wasn't backing down. By noon, a sheriff's cruiser rolled into the cul-de-sac. Beverly had called the law, standing on her lawn with arms crossed, pointing at Emma's house. Deputy Sarah Nguyen stepped out, her badge glinting. She was young, with a practical ponytail and a don't-waste-my-time vibe. Got a call about a trespassing dispute, Nguyen said, glancing between them. Beverly launched in. This woman's harassing me over a safety measure. The HOA owns that trail and she's stirring trouble. Emma stayed calm, handing Nguyen her phone with the covenants open. The trail's a shared easement. The fence violates the rules. I just want it gone. Nguyen skimmed the document, her expression unreadable. She walked to the trail, Beverly trailing, muttering about entitled newcomers. Emma followed, Juniper trotting beside her. At the fence, Nguyen crouched, checking the sign. Ma'am, she said to Beverly, these covenants are clear. This easement's communal. You need unanimous board approval for a fence, and I'm guessing you don't have it. Beverly sputtered. The board supports me. Nguyen raised an eyebrow. Then show me the minutes. Until then, this fence comes down by Monday, or I'll cite you for obstructing a public easement. Beverly's face reddened, but she nodded curtly. Nguyen tipped her hat to Emma. Call if you need me. Emma watched Nguyen drive off, feeling a flicker of triumph. Beverly stomped back to her house, pausing to glare. This isn't over, Emma. I protect this neighborhood. Her tone was venom wrapped in sugar. Emma didn't flinch. See you Monday, Beverly. That night, Emma sat on her porch, Juniper curled at her feet. The trail's cedars loomed in the dark, their scent sharp. She sipped chamomile tea, replaying Beverly's threat. The fence was a power grab, plain and simple. Beverly didn't just want control, she wanted ownership. Emma had moved here for quiet, for the trail's peace. She fought clients over deadlines, but this was personal. The trail was hers, the neighborhood, and no HOA tyrant would steal it. She checked the covenants again, memorizing key clauses. Beverly wasn't the type to quit. Emma scratched Juniper's ears, her resolve hardening. We're ready, girl, she whispered. The spark was lit, and Emma wouldn't let it burn out. 2 weeks after Beverly Klein's illegal fence came down, Emma Torres thought she'd won. The wooded trail behind her Oregon home was open again, its cedars and wildflowers untouched. But Beverly wasn't the type to lose gracefully. Emma learned that the hard way. It started with her garden. She built a small trailhead plot, planters with lavender and sage, a drip irrigation system for dry summers. One Tuesday evening, Juniper, her scruffy mutt, bolted toward the trail, then yelped, skidding back. Emma ran over, heart pounding. Her planters were smashed, ceramic shards scattered like confetti. The irrigation lines were sliced clean through, water pooling in the dirt. Worst of all, a rusted spring trap sat half hidden in the grass, its jaws snapped shut. Juniper's paw was nicked, blood dotting her fur. Emma called the vet, who cleaned Juniper's paw and prescribed antibiotics. "Keep her off that trail for now," the vet warned. Emma's anger simmered. This wasn't random. Beverly's defeat over the fence had left a grudge. Emma wasn't playing defense anymore. She ordered 4 motion sensor trail cameras with night vision, linking alerts to her phone. Next, she hired Clara Voss, a surveyor with a reputation for precision. Clara, wiry and no-nonsense, drove steel pins into the trail's easement corners, each stamped with a warning: "Removal is a Class C felony." She handed Emma a laminated map of the boundaries. "If anyone messes with these, you've got them dead to rights." That night at 1:47 a.m., Emma's phone buzzed. The camera app showed 2 figures on the trail, one tall, one shorter, yanking Clara's pins with a crowbar. The tall one had a snake tattoo on his forearm, caught in the infrared glow. The shorter one wore a red cardigan, unmistakably Beverly's. They tossed the pins into a ditch and slipped away. Emma called Deputy Sarah Nguyen at dawn, emailing the footage. Nguyen arrived by 8 a.m., watching the video on Emma's laptop. "That's Derek Klein, Beverly's nephew," she said, pointing at the tattoo. "Tagged a mailbox last year, got probation, and that cardigan, Beverly's practically married to it." Nguyen's jaw tightened. "I'll get a warrant." By noon, Nguyen and 2 deputies knocked on Derek's apartment door. He answered in sweatpants, eyes bleary, insisting he'd been gaming all night. Nguyen showed him a still from the footage, his tattooed arm mid-yank. Derek went quiet. At Beverly's house, Nguyen found her watering roses, cardigan draped over a chair. "Just checking my sprinklers last night," Beverly said, smiling tightly. Nguyen didn't buy it. She found 3 of Clara's pins in Beverly's garage, along with a crowbar dusted with trail dirt. Nguyen arrested them for criminal mischief and trespassing. Beverly, indignant, made bail by 3 p.m., her lawyer already spinning excuses. Derek wasn't so lucky. His 2023 graffiti charge meant a probation violation, and the judge ordered him held without bond. Emma watched Beverly's SUV speed out of the cul-de-sac, her silhouette rigid. The neighborhood buzzed, neighbors whispered on porches, some siding with Emma, others wary of Beverly's influence. Emma sat in her kitchen, Juniper dozing on a blanket, paw bandaged but healing. The cameras had worked and Nguyen was a bulldog, but Beverly's quick release gnawed at her. This wasn't over. Emma checked the remaining camera feeds, ensuring they were live. She'd caught Beverly once, but the HOA queen wouldn't slink away quietly. Clara stopped by that evening, double-checking the easement map. "You've got a fighter on your hands," she said, nodding toward Beverly's house. Emma sipped her coffee, resolve hardening. So do I. The trail was hers, the neighborhood, and she'd protect it. Beverly had sparked a fight, but Emma was gathering kindling. A month after Beverly Klein and her nephew Derek were arrested, Emma Torres felt the tide turning. The wooded trail behind her Oregon home was quiet again, its wildflowers swaying under October clouds. Juniper, her scruffy mutt, scampered along the path, paw fully healed from the trap Beverly's vendetta had left. But Emma wasn't naive. Beverly's silence meant scheming, not surrender. Emma's lawyer, Maya Patel, was ready to strike. Maya, sharp as a tack, subpoenaed the Willow Creek HOA's financial records. "HOA disputes often hide dirt," she told Emma over coffee. The dirt came fast, $42,000 in checks for trail maintenance and security upgrades that never happened. The illegal chain-link fence, paid with a $6,000 check signed by Derek, the HOA treasurer. Worse, $8,000 had funneled to Beverly's personal account, labeled consulting fees for events no one recalled. Emma's jaw dropped. "She's been robbing us blind." The HOA board, a mix of retirees and busy parents, was stunned. Helen, a kind-eyed grandmother, called Emma, voice trembling. "We trusted Beverly, we're so sorry." Maya presented the findings at an emergency board meeting where members gasped at forged invoices, photoshopped logos, inflated costs. Derek had orchestrated the scam, but Beverly's signature was on every major withdrawal. Detective Alina Ruiz from the county's fraud unit took over. She seized Derek's laptop, uncovering a goldmine, fake receipts, doctored board minutes, and a template for neon green approved stamps. One email from Beverly to Derek read, "Keep the trail project quiet, we'll own it soon." Ruiz's team also traced the $8,000 to Beverly's savings, deposited the day after the fence went up. Emma's trail camera footage, Beverly in her red cardigan, yanking survey pins, tied it all together. Derek, stuck in county jail, cracked under pressure. His 2023 graffiti probation meant felony charges could lock him up for years. Ruiz offered a deal: testify against Beverly for a reduced sentence. Derek, pale and fidgety, agreed, detailing how Beverly planned to privatize the trail for a developer's payout, using HOA funds to cover her tracks. She said it'd make us rich, he mumbled. Beverly, out on bail, hired Victor Lang, a $600 an hour lawyer who smirked at press cameras. Lang claimed the funds were misallocated and Beverly was unaware of Derek's actions. But Maya was relentless, cross-referencing bank records with Clara Voss's survey pins, which Beverly had stashed in her garage. Emma marveled at Maya's precision. She was a sniper with spreadsheets. The HOA board, desperate to rebuild trust, voted to press charges against Beverly and Derek. At their next meeting, Helen handed Emma a $2,500 check from Derek's seized assets to repair her smashed planters and irrigation lines. "It's a start," Helen said, eyes wet. Emma nodded, grateful but guarded. The neighborhood was split. Some neighbors rallied behind her, others whispered Beverly's name with fear. Emma walked the trail that evening, Juniper chasing a squirrel. The steel survey pins, reinstalled by Clara, glinted in the dusk. Emma's garden was still a mess, but the lavender would grow back. She felt momentum: Ruiz's investigation, Derek's testimony, Maya's evidence. Beverly's empire was crumbling, but Emma wasn't celebrating yet. Beverly's glare at the last HOA meeting lingered, a promise of retaliation. Back home, Emma checked her trail cameras, ensuring they were armed. Juniper curled up beside her, snoring softly. The fight had cost time, money, and peace, but Emma was winning. The trail was still hers, the neighborhood, and no amount of Beverly's scheming could change that. Maya texted, "Court date set for November. We've got her." Emma smiled, ready for the next round. 3 months after uncovering Beverly Klein's HOA fraud, Emma Torres sat in a packed Oregon courtroom, her palms damp. The air smelled of polished wood and tension. Beverly, in a tailored suit, sat rigid beside her $600 an hour lawyer, Victor Lang. Her nephew Derek, pale in a cheap blazer, avoided her gaze. Emma's lawyer, Maya Patel, radiated calm, her briefcase stuffed with evidence that had kept Emma awake for weeks. The trial moved fast. Maya called Detective Alina Ruiz, who detailed the $42,000 in misappropriated HOA funds, $6,000 for Beverly's illegal trail fence, $8,000 funneled to her account as consulting fees. Ruiz projected forged invoices, their neon green approved stamps glowing on the courtroom screen. Emma's trail camera footage played next. Beverly, red cardigan flapping, yanking survey pins with Derek at 1:47 a.m. The jury leaned forward, a juror's pen pausing mid-note. Derek took the stand, voice shaky. Facing felony charges and probation revocation, he'd cut a deal. "Beverly wanted the trail for a developer," he said. "Said they'd pay big to build condos. She told me to fake the invoices, keep the board in the dark." He glanced at Beverly, who stared ahead, lips a thin line. Maya held up Beverly's email to Derek. "Keep the trail project quiet. We'll own it soon." A juror gasped. Lang argued Beverly was a dedicated volunteer misled by Derek, but Maya dismantled him. She cross-referenced bank records with Clara Voss's stolen survey pins found in Beverly's garage. Deputy Sarah Nguyen testified about the arrests, nodding Beverly's flimsy sprinkler check excuse. The jury deliberated for 3 hours, returning with guilty verdicts for both: felony conspiracy, theft, criminal mischief, and trespassing. The judge, a stern woman with wire-rimmed glasses, sentenced Beverly to 18 months in prison and $45,000 in restitution, $10,000 to Emma for her garden, $35,000 to the HOA. Derek got 2 years with parole possible in 14 months. Beverly's bond was revoked. Handcuffs clicked as she was led away. Her glare met Emma's eyes, venomous but powerless. Emma exhaled, nodding once, not out of spite but closure. Outside, Maya hugged Emma. "You did this," she said. Emma shook her head. "We did." Nguyen, waiting by her cruiser, tipped her hat. "Trail's yours again." Emma smiled, the weight lifting. She drove home, Juniper's tail thumping in the backseat. The Willow Creek cul-de-sac felt lighter, neighbors waving instead of whispering. That weekend, Emma replanted her trailhead garden. She hauled new planters, filling them with lavender and sage. Helen, the HOA board's new chair, showed up with 2 neighbors carrying shovels. "We owe you," Helen said, digging beside her. They worked until dusk, dirt under their nails, laughing as Juniper chased a butterfly. The HOA, now posting budgets online, had vowed transparency. Helen's first act was a public apology at the last meeting, printed in the newsletter. Emma walked the trail that evening, Juniper darting through wildflowers. The survey pins glinted undisturbed. The cedars whispered in the breeze, their scent grounding her. Beverly's scheme, fence, fraud, condos had crumbled. The trail was safe, communal, alive. Emma pictured a community garden here, raised beds, zinnias, kids planting seeds. She'd propose it at the next HOA meeting, not as a fight, but a gift. Back home, Emma sketched a garden layout on her tablet, Juniper snoring nearby. The $10,000 restitution would buy soil, trellises, maybe a bench. She fought for peace, not revenge, and won. Beverly was gone, Derek humbled, the neighborhood waking up. Emma saved her sketch, titled Trail Haven. It was a new beginning, and she was ready. 6 months after Beverly Klein's conviction, Emma Torr stood in her trailhead garden, the scent of fresh soil grounding her. The wooded trail behind her Oregon home bloomed with wildflowers, its cedars whispering in the spring breeze. Juniper, her scruffy mutt, rolled in the grass, fully healed from the trap Beverly's vendetta had left. The fight had been brutal, but Willow Creek was waking up, and Emma was ready to rebuild. A letter from the HOA arrived that week, signed by Helen, the new board chair. Enclosed was a $3,500 check, part of Beverly's seized assets to repair Emma's vandalized garden, smashed planters, sliced irrigation lines. "We're making this right," Helen wrote. Emma cashed the check, ordering raised beds, native plants, and a new drip system. She envisioned milkweed for monarchs, coneflowers for bees, sage for herself. The trail deserved beauty, not battle scars. Emma started planting on a Saturday, her hands deep in dirt. Neighbors appeared unprompted. Tom and Lena, a young couple from across the cul-de-sac, hauled mulch. Helen brought seedlings, her silver braid swinging as she dug. "You saved the trail," Tom said, grinning. "Least we can do." Emma laughed, passing him a trowel. Juniper darted between them, chasing a bee, her tail a blur. By dusk, 4 raised beds stood proud, filled with green promise. The HOA was changing too. Helen's board posted budgets online, detailing every dime. Meetings, once Beverly's stage for scolding, were now open forums. At the last one, Emma shared her Trail Haven sketch, a community garden along the easement. The board voted yes, with neighbors cheering. "It's your vision," Helen told Emma, who shrugged, humbled. She fought for the trail, but it belonged to everyone. Emma attended the next HOA meeting, her first since the fence dispute. The room buzzed with faces she'd only waved to before. Lena proposed a trail cleanup day, Tom suggested benches. Helen outlined plans to audit past budgets, ensuring Beverly's scams wouldn't repeat. Emma sat quietly, marveling. Willow Creek wasn't just healing, it was thriving. She caught Deputy Sarah Nguyen's eye across the room, both nodding. Nguyen had stopped by earlier, joking, "No fences today." Walking the trail that evening, Emma let Juniper off leash. The dog bounded through wildflowers, paws kicking up cedar scent. The survey pins, reinstalled after Beverly's theft, glinted in the fading light. Emma's garden beds glowed, a testament to resilience. She pictured the community garden taking root: zinnias, sunflowers, kids with tiny shovels. The $3,500 had rebuilt more than planters, it had sown trust. At home, Emma sipped chamomile tea, Juniper snoring at her feet. Her laptop hummed with a new design project, but her mind was on the trail. The fight had cost sleepless nights, vet bills, and faith in neighbors. Yet it had gained her this, a community knitting itself back together. Maya Patel, her lawyer, texted, "Restitution's just the start. You changed this place." Emma smiled, saving her garden sketch. Tom knocked the next day, holding a homemade pie. "Lena's thank you for standing up to Beverly," he said. "We were scared too, you were." Emma took the pie, warmth spreading. She hadn't fought alone. Nguyen, Maya, Clara, now Helen and Tom, they'd all carried the torch. The trail was safe, the HOA humbled, and Emma's home felt like home again. She walked to the trail one last time before dusk, Juniper trotting beside her. A vision flickered, a pollinator meadow buzzing with life stretching along the easement. She'd pitch it to the board, maybe plant it herself. The fight was over, but the work, growing, building, belonging, was just beginning. Emma scratched Juniper's ears, the cedars swaying above. This was her fresh start, and she'd make it bloom. A year after Beverly Klein's imprisonment, Emma Torr thought the fight for the wooded trail was history. Her Oregon home hummed with quiet joy. Juniper, her scruffy mutt, chased fireflies along the trail, and the community garden she'd inspired bloomed with sunflowers and sage. Willow Creek's scars were fading, but a letter in Emma's mailbox proved some ghosts linger. The letter came from Carla Klein, Beverly's sister, claiming a historical easement across the trail for family access. Attached was a grainy document dated 1978, granting the Klein family a right of way. Emma's stomach sank. The trail, her sanctuary, was under siege again. She called Maya Patel, her lawyer, who laughed after one glance. "This is a bad photocopy of a bad lie," Maya said. The document's signatures didn't match county records, and the lot numbers were from a 1990s survey. Clara Voss, the surveyor, confirmed it. Pure fiction. Maya sent Carla a cease and desist, threatening a fraud countersuit. Carla, a reedy woman with Beverly's sharp eyes, backed off before a court date was set, emailing a curt withdrawal. Emma exhaled, walking the trail that evening. The steel survey pins, untouched since Beverly's theft, glinted under cedars. Juniper bounded through wildflowers, oblivious to the scare. Carla's ploy was desperate, a last jab from the Klein legacy. It failed. Another letter arrived days later, this one from Derek Klein, Beverly's nephew, postmarked from prison. Emma hesitated, then opened it. Derek's handwriting was neat, contrite. "I was wrong to follow Beverly," he wrote. "I hurt you, the neighborhood, I'm sorry. Enclosed was a hand-drawn garden plan for the trail, raised beds, milkweed, a butterfly bench labeled Willow Creek Peace. Derek mentioned a landscaping course he'd taken, hoping to grow something good after release. Emma sat with the letter, Juniper snoring beside her. Derek's role, vandalizing her garden, forging HOA invoices, had cost her peace. Yet his sketch mirrored her own trail haven vision down to the coneflowers. She wrote back, brief but kind, "Thanks for the plan, keep studying landscaping, the trail's blooming now." Forgiveness wasn't there, but possibility was. She mailed it, feeling lighter. The community garden thrived. Neighbors, led by Helen's reformed HOA, planted rows of zinnias. Kids from the cul-de-sac, mud on their sneakers, helped Emma water. Tom and Lena, the couple who'd brought mulch, donated a bench etched with Willow Creek Trail 2026. At an HOA meeting, Helen shared budget updates, every cent accounted for, and announced a trail festival. Emma smiled, no longer the outsider who'd fought alone. One evening, Emma walked the trail, Juniper chasing a firefly glow. The garden beds burst with color, the air thick with cedar and hope. The fight, Beverly's fence, Derek's crowbar, Carla's forged claim, had tested her. But it forged this, a neighborhood united, a trail alive. She thought of Derek's sketch tucked in her desk. Maybe he'd plant something someday, maybe not. Her job was here, nurturing what grew. Emma paused at a new bench, running her hand over its carving. The trail was hers, theirs forever. She scratched Juniper's ears, the fireflies dancing. The circle was complete and Emma was home. 18 months after Beverly Klein's imprisonment, Emma Torres walked the wooded trail in Willow Creek, Oregon, marveling at its transformation. The cedars still stood, wildflowers dancing under their shade, but the trail was more than a path now. It was a heartbeat. Beverly's attempt to steal it had failed, and in its place, the neighborhood had built something unstoppable. Emma, Juniper at her heels, felt the victory's roots deep in the soil. Beverly's foreclosed home, once a symbol of HOA tyranny, had a new owner, Green Roots, a nonprofit dedicated to sustainability. They'd turned the colonial-style house into a community center, its lawn now a patchwork of raised beds and fruit trees. Emma volunteered on their first project, a pollinator meadow along the trail. She arrived with a shovel, joining Helen, the HOA chair, and neighbors Tom and Lena. Deputy Sarah Nguyen showed up in jeans, hauling mulch. "No fences to bust today," Nguyen grinned, winking at Emma. The meadow took shape under their hands. Milkweed for monarchs, asters for bees, bee balm for hummingbirds. Kids from the cul-de-sac, mud on their cheeks, planted seedlings, giggling as Juniper chased a rabbit. The community garden, sparked by Emma, Trail Haven sketch, had grown too. New sunflower beds flanked a pergola built with restitution funds from Beverly's $45,000 penalty. A bench donated by Tom bore a plaque, "Willow Creek Trail Reclaimed 2026." A trail cleanup day cemented the change. 30 neighbors gathered, a far cry from Beverly's empty HOA meetings. Helen coordinated, her silver braid bouncing as she passed out gloves. Clara Voss, the surveyor, checked the trail's pins, joking, "No crowbars this time." They cleared brush, built a compost bin, and painted signs, "Welcome to our trail." Emma hauled wheelbarrows, sweat mixing with pride. Beverly's manicured lawn, once a sterile showpiece, was now a riot of color and life. Nguyen shared a story over lunch, her voice low with amusement. "Heard from a prison guard, Beverly's whining about the food, demanding special treatment. Still thinks she's queen." The group laughed, the sound carrying across the trail. Emma smiled, picturing Beverly's tailored suit swapped for an orange jumpsuit. Her control was gone, her legacy erased by sunflowers and laughter. The community center opened that afternoon, its doors wide. Green Roots hosted workshops, composting, native planting, free for all. Emma led a garden tour, pointing out the meadow's blooms. A girl tugged her sleeve, offering a daisy. "For saving the trail," she said. Emma knelt, tucking the flower in her hair. She hadn't saved it alone. Helen, Nguyen, Maya, Clara, Tom, Lena, but she'd lit the spark. Walking the trail at dusk, Emma let Juniper off leash. The dog rolled in the meadow, paws kicking up pollen. The pergola's shadow stretched across new beds, the air thick with cedar and hope. Beverly's fence, her fraud, her glares, they'd been heavy, but they'd forged this, a neighborhood alive, a trail reborn. Emma thought of Derek's prison letter, his garden sketch. She'd written back, encouraging his landscaping dreams. Redemption wasn't hers to give, but growth was possible. The center's lights glowed behind her, voices spilling out. Kids chased fireflies, parents swapped stories. The trail was a hub now, not a battleground. Emma paused at the bench, tracing its plaque. Beverly had wanted to own this land, instead it owned itself, shared by all. The victory wasn't just hers, it was Willow Creek, and it would last. Emma scratched Juniper's ears, the meadow buzzing softly. The circle was complete, the fight won. She turned home, the trail's heartbeat steady under her feet. 2 years after Beverly Klein's conviction, Emma Torres stood in the heart of Willow Creek, Oregon, surrounded by laughter and the scent of roasted squash. The wooded trail, once a battleground, was now a thriving hub, its community garden and pollinator meadow bursting with life. Green Roots, the nonprofit that had transformed Beverly's foreclosed home into a community center, hosted its first harvest festival, and the neighborhood turned out in droves. Emma, Juniper trotting at her side, felt the weight of the past lift, replaced by a quiet, enduring peace. The festival sprawled across the center's grounds, Beverly's old lawn now a tapestry of raised beds and apple trees. Tables groaned with trail-grown bounty, butternut squash with sage, garlic, honey carrots, blackberry tarts glistening in the October sun. Kids darted through the meadow, clutching sunflowers, while neighbors swapped stories over cider. Emma helped serve, her apron dusted with flour as Helen, the HOA chair, raised a megaphone. "To Emma Torres," she called, "who saved our trail." The crowd cheered, but Emma waved it off, blushing. "We saved it," she said, nodding to Tom, Lena, and the dozens who'd fought beside her. The trail told the story. Its garden, sparked by Emma, Trail Haven's sketch, had grown into rows of zinnias, kale, and tomatoes. A pergola, crafted from the steel of Beverly's illegal fence, shaded a new bench. Milkweed and asters hummed with bees in the pollinator meadow, and a little library box painted by local kids offered books to passersby. The $45,000 restitution from Beverly, $10,000 to Emma, $35,000 to the HOA, had funded it all, plus a pergola plaque. Willow Creek Trail, reclaimed 2026. Emma ran her fingers over it, marveling. Beverly's grab for control had built this instead. Emma's fight hadn't been cheap. She paid in vet bills for Juniper's trap injury, sleepless nights over forged easements, and the sting of neighbors' early silence. But the rewards were here. Tom and Lena, now friends, laughing over tarts. Helen's transparent HOA, posting budgets online. Kids planting seeds where Beverly's crowbar once struck. Deputy Sarah Nguyen, sipping cider, leaned in. "Heard Beverly's out next month," she said. "Tried rallying old allies from prison. Nobody's listening." Emma nodded, unsurprised. Willow Creek was too strong now, its roots too deep. Helen took the megaphone again, detailing HOA reforms. The $35,000 restitution had seeded a scholarship for local kids named Willow Creek Future. A trail maintenance committee led by Clara Voss ensured the easement's protection. "No more secrets," Helen said, and the crowd clapped. Emma, who'd once dreaded HOA meetings, felt a swell of pride. She lit the spark, but they'd kept it burning. A letter from Derek Klein arrived that morning, tucked in Emma's pocket. Released from prison, he'd landed a landscaping job in Portland. "Your letter kept me going," he wrote. "I'm planting natives now like we sketched." Emma smiled, folding it away. Derek's crowbar days were gone. His garden plan had taken root, just like hers. She didn't need his apology, but she valued his growth. The festival pulsed with life. A local band played bluegrass, strings humming as kids chased fireflies. Lena handed Emma a tart, her eyes bright. "This is because of you," she said. Emma shook her head. "It's us." She thought of Maya Patel, her lawyer, who'd texted congratulations, Clara, whose survey pin still stood, Nguyen, who'd hauled mulch. The trail was their victory, woven from shared sweat and stubborn hope. Emma slipped away to walk the trail, Juniper bounding ahead. The pergola's shadow stretched across sunflower beds, its steel gleaming. She sat on the bench, Juniper napping beneath, and let the memories flood. Beverly's fence, her red cardigan in the camera's glare, her courtroom defeat. The forged easement from Carla, Derek's remorseful sketch. Each blow had hurt, but each had built this, a trail alive with laughter and neighborhood whole. Emma traced the plaque again, its words a promise kept. Back at the festival, the band struck up a waltz. Neighbors danced, clumsy and joyful, under string lights. A girl offered Emma a sunflower, echoing the daisy from months before. "For the trail," she said. Emma tucked it in her hair, her heart full. The center's windows glowed, green roots staff like Rachel leading compost demos. The meadow buzzed softly, bees working late. Beverly's shadow was gone, replaced by roots that wouldn't budge. Emma returned home as dusk settled, Juniper curling up on the porch. She opened her tablet, sketching a new garden plan, more milkweed, maybe lavender. The trail was secure, the community hers. She thought of the fight's first spark, that chain-link fence glinting in the mist. It had led here to fireflies and tarts, to a pergola born of spite. Emma saved the sketch, titled Forever Trail. Juniper sighed, content. The trail's heartbeat echoed in her own, and Emma knew they'd both found peace.